What if you could step quietly into a world long ago, where the air smelled of wood smoke and damp stone, where the streets hummed with the rhythm of everyday life, yet the shadow of something unseen stretched across the land? What if you could walk among them, silently observing, breathing in their lives, their fears, their hopes? Before we wander together, gently, you might consider liking this story, subscribing, leaving a soft comment, perhaps whispering your presence somewhere in the quiet corners of the world. Where are you listening from tonight? Now, settle yourself, allow your body to grow heavier, your mind to soften. Take a slow, deep breath in, and let it float out, slowly, gently, as though you are breathing with a wind that drifts through medieval streets. Picture the evening. The sky fading to a soft grey blue, lamps flickering in windows. The smell of bread baking, of wet cobblestones, of smoke curling from chimneys. You are safe, you are warm, and tonight, we will walk quietly through the lives of those who lived when plagues reshaped power, when mortality whispered in every courtyard. Let me introduce you, though softly, gently, as though you might disturb the calm of this world if spoken too loudly. There is Eleanor, a young woman with hair the color of autumn wheat. Her hands calloused from tending the small herb garden beside her cottage. She moves quietly, carrying water in a clay jug, careful, precise, yet her eyes hold curiosity, a hunger for stories beyond the hills that cradle her village. And Brother Anselm, who keeps the monastery scriptorium neat and quiet. He bends over manuscripts by candlelight, ink-stained fingers tracing the words of monks long gone. He whispers prayers between breaths, and sometimes, when he believes no one is listening, he sketches the figures of those who have passed before him, imagining their lives, their choices, their sorrows. Nearby, Sir Roland, a knight whose armor clinks softly with each measured step, his hair touched by silver despite his strong frame. He paces the castle courtyard, pondering the duties of a lord, the shifting power among neighboring nobles, and the fragile life of every peasant who works his fields. He worries, though quietly, for fear that his thoughts may spread unease. In the town's market, Margot, a merchant woman, arranges her wares, bolts of wool, dried herbs, polished wooden toys. She smiles at the children who pass, though her eyes carry a shadow. She has heard the whispers from the docks, of sickness in distant towns, and her stomach knots. Yet she continues her work, steady, rhythmic, calm, teaching the children to measure and weigh with patient hands. And there is Tobias, a wandering scholar, carrying scrolls tied with leather cords. He moves from village to village, sharing tales of kings and chronicles of distant lands. He speaks softly, always with an eye to observe the small gestures. The way a mother straightens a child's tunic, the way the blacksmith pauses to wipe sweat from his brow. Tobias collects these fragments, weaving them into stories to remember, to preserve. Each of these lives, these threads, will move gently through the days to come, and as we follow them, let your own breath slow. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the mattress, the chair, the quiet space around you. Imagine the softness of woolen blankets, the warmth of a hearth, the faint scent of herbs and smoke curling in the evening air. Now, imagine the streets, winding and narrow, cobbled and worn smooth by countless footsteps, morning light barely reaching. Between tall timbered houses, the clatter of a cart, the distant bleat of sheep, a bell tolling slowly from the chapel tower, each sound softened by distance, echoing like a lullaby for the weary. The villagers move in rhythm, the baker kneading dough, the blacksmith hammering gently on metal, the children chasing each other, their laughter floating and fading into the afternoon haze. Yet beneath the daily life, there is a sense of unease, of change, a whisper on the wind, a ripple in the pond of human existence. And you are here, quietly observing, feeling the pulse of life, the fragility, the beauty of it all. You are allowed to rest, to drift, to breathe alongside these people, to walk softly in their world without fear. Eleanor pauses at the edge of the garden. She lifts her hand to feel the warm sun on her skin and wonders about the future, about the stories she will tell if she survives. Brother Anselm dips his quill, glancing out the window, and dreams of a world remembered through words and images. Sir Roland tightens his gauntlets, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing gently on his shoulders. Margot straightens a pile of wool, counting carefully, while Tobias notes the pattern of leaves falling from the trees, quietly, endlessly, patiently. All around, the village breathes, and you are part of that rhythm, a gentle observer, a quiet companion, noticing the small details, the ordinary miracles of life, the soft unfolding of days. Tonight, let us wander together through a world on the cusp of change, through lives touched by hope, by fear, by kindness, by sorrow, where every whispered word, every careful gesture, every fleeting glance is a story waiting to be remembered. Take another deep breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your hands rest softly. Let your mind float along the cobbled streets, past the flickering lamps, past the scent of herbs and smoke. Let your heart settle into the gentle cadence of medieval life, and so, softly, slowly, we step forward into the days that will come, into the lives that will unfold, into the quiet moments where history and imagination meet, where plagues will whisper their way through towns and castles, and where human courage, tenderness, and adaptation will rise. Quietly, like a candle flickering in the evening air. Tonight, we are here together, wandering through a world long gone, yet alive, in our thoughts, in our hearts, and in the slow, meditative unfolding of this story. The streets await, the villagers continue their routines, and the soft, rhythmic passage of time begins. What if you could linger at the edge of a village as dawn stretches its fingers across timbered roofs, the mist curling softly through cobblestone streets, the air heavy with dew and the scent of earth? What if you could feel the pulse of life here before anything changes, before shadows reach the doorsteps? Take a soft breath, in and out, slowly, gently. Let your body settle deeper. Feel the quiet hum of the world around you, imagined yet alive. As the sun rises, the village stirs, and more lives quietly reveal themselves to us. There is Gideon, a carpenter with hands thick and calloused, who wakes each morning to the sound of hammers on wood, to the scent of sawdust and pine resin. He moves deliberately, each stroke of the chisel shaping beams and planks. His mind drifts sometimes, imagining a son he has yet to meet, or a daughter who might one day run through the streets, laughing. He speaks rarely, but when he does, it is softly, carefully, every word chosen like the placement of a nail. Nearby, Isolde, the weaver, begins her day in the warmth of her cottage. The loom stretches before her, threads golden and deep brown twisting and turning beneath her fingers. She hums a tune from memory, the notes drifting like smoke into the quiet morning. Children pass by her window, waving. She waves back, a faint smile touching her lips. Yet in the back of her mind, a soft unease nags. Merchants have whispered of sickness far beyond the hills, of villages emptied, of families undone. She shakes it away. For now, the day is calm, and the threads must be woven. In the open square, Father Benedict walks slowly, the long hem of his robe brushing against stone. He carries a small basket of bread to share with the elderly. His voice is a gentle echo in the morning air as he blesses the animals, the fields, the people. He notices the glances of worry among villagers, a mother clutching her child more tightly, a farmer pausing at the edge of his field, and he whispers soft prayers, as though each syllable might push back the unseen threat lingering on the horizon. And over the hills, where the forest thickens and the morning mist hangs like a veil, Marcel, a hunter, checks his traps and inspects the animals carefully, his bow resting across his broad shoulders. He is quiet, attuned to the rustle of leaves, the faint snap of a branch, the distant call of a bird. He is aware that even here, the world is fragile, and yet life persists. Deer, rabbits, and foxes move carefully through the underbrush, and he moves alongside them, unseen, observing, waiting, alive, breathing, patient. By the river, Clara, a young healer, collects herbs for poultices and teas. The water glints in the rising sun, carrying reflections like scattered silver coins across its surface. She kneels, hands in the cool flow, fingers brushing sage, chamomile, and willow bark. She hums softly, as though the plants themselves might hear and lend their strength. She wonders, quietly, how the world beyond the hills fares, whether the stories she has heard from travelers are true. Yet here, by this river, there is calm, and the plants offer their own slow, steady healing. In the castle high above, Lord Eustace descends from his chamber, the heavy doors creaking behind him. He surveys the town below with a steady gaze. The marketplace comes alive in the distance. The blacksmith hammers, the baker kneads, the children chase one another along narrow streets. And yet he knows that beneath the rhythm of everyday life, under the surface of stone and timber, uncertainty waits, change waits, and power, fragile and fleeting, trembles like a candle flame. Meanwhile, in a quiet alleyway, Lucian, a scribe, dips his quill in ink and begins to write letters for those who cannot read. He traces words slowly, deliberately, feeling the texture of parchment under his fingers. He notices the subtle expressions of villagers passing by: worry, hope, exhaustion, resilience. Each line he writes captures a fragment of life, a fleeting moment, a memory for the future, and in this small, careful way, he preserves the pulse of the village. Even Sophie, a baker's apprentice, moves with soft precision. She carries a basket of warm bread through the streets, offering a loaf to a passerby with a shy smile. Her hands are flour-dusted, her apron streaked. She is young, but her eyes are wide with understanding. The weight of the village's rhythm presses gently on her shoulders, and yet she carries it lightly, step by step, breath by breath, loaf by loaf, and you, listening softly, are here with them, drifting along the edges of daily life. Noticing the scent of bread, the creak of wooden carts, the hum of bees in garden flowers, the distant crow of a rooster, feeling the ebb and flow of human life, calm, steady, slow. This world is alive, yet fragile, and beneath the ordinary routines, a subtle tension lingers. Travelers whisper of distant sickness. Merchants hesitate at the gates. The wind carries news like drifting smoke. Some brush it off as rumor, others cannot ignore it. And already, the edges of this world begin to fray, imperceptibly. Almost like the soft unraveling of a thread in a woven cloth, Eleanor tends her garden, feeling the weight of sunlight on her shoulders. Gideon raises a timber carefully into place. The luminous old cottage moves rhythmically, threads crossing and looping. Father Benedict blesses the fields. Marcel listens for the rustle of prey. Clara gathers healing plants. Lord Eustace surveys the marketplace. Lucian traces letters with soft precision. Sophie delivers bread with a quiet smile, and the village breathes, each person a heartbeat, each life a note in the slow melody of time. Tonight, imagine the warmth of woolen garments, the soft glow of fires, the gentle murmur of a brook. Hear the distant hammer of the blacksmith, the scrape of a cartwheel, the faint laughter of children. Feel the pulse of life before change arrives, and rest in it. In the ordinary, in the calm, in the slow unfolding of the day, the villagers move through their routines, their lives touching one another softly, invisibly, like threads in a tapestry, and you drift with them, quietly, gently, watching, breathing, resting, feeling the subtle rhythm of a world alive, yet poised, at the edge. And so we linger here a little longer, noticing the small gestures, the quiet resilience, the ordinary beauty of life, the heartbeat of a village untouched, for now. What if you could hear the quiet stirrings of a world beginning to change, the subtle tremor beneath the rhythm of life, the shadows slipping softly along the edges of cobblestone streets? What if you could follow these murmurs and feel them drift through the lives of people who do not yet understand what is coming? Take a deep, gentle breath, in and out, slowly. Feel your body sink deeper into comfort. Let your mind float with the morning mist, curling softly over rooftops. Listen to the distant toll of a bell, slow and deliberate, a reminder of time, of life, and the fragility woven through it. Eleanor, tending her herb garden, pauses. A chill brushes her skin, not from the morning dew, but from a whisper carried on the wind. She hears travelers' tales drifting back from the distant towns beyond the hills. Tales of sickness, of quiet streets, of families undone. She shakes her head. Not here, she murmurs to herself. Yet a subtle unease nestles in her chest. She strokes the leaves of her chamomile, breathing in the faint scent of hope. Gideon, the carpenter, notices the absence of the usual morning crowd in the marketplace. Merchants who often call greetings, children laughing, the hum of haggling. Today, a hush hangs over the square. He pauses mid-strike of his chisel. The echo of wood against hammer feels unusually loud. A soft tremor of worry moves through him, like a twig bending under an unseen weight. In the monastery, Brother Anselm reads a letter brought by a traveling monk. The words are careful, yet they tremble with warning. A sickness, unknown, spreading along the river roads, families falling ill, villages emptied. He dips his quill, hesitates, then traces the letters slowly, carefully, as if each word might hold the weight of destiny. He whispers a prayer, for the sick, for the living, for strength to endure what is to come. Isolde at her loom feels the vibration of anxious footsteps on the cobblestones outside her window. Villagers speaking in hushed tones. The merchant Margot hurries past with her cart. A small child clings to her mother's skirt, eyes wide and fearful. Isolde's hands pause mid-weave. The threads of wool seem heavier today. The tapestry of her life, of the village, fraying at the edges before she even notices. Father Benedict walks slowly through the square, noting the absence of familiar faces. The elderly, often gathered for morning bread, are fewer. The baker's children do not run as they usually do. He blesses the empty spaces, softly, murmuring encouragements to those he meets. A soft tremor in his voice betrays the worry he tries to hide. The calm cadence of the village life begins to shift, like a pond disturbed by a gentle stone. Meanwhile, Marcel in the forest senses a subtle shift in the animal's behavior. The deer pause longer at the edge of the trees. The birds' songs are quieter. Even the wind seems to carry a strange weight. He tightens the straps on his bow, aware, always aware, of the delicate balance of life, and of the fragility of what sustains it. Clara, the healer, hears the first tales of fever and coughing in a neighboring hamlet. She gathers her satchels, packs dried herbs, and considers the remedies she might need. Her hands tremble slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of responsibility she senses. Each poultice, each measured drop of herbal extract, now carries the potential to comfort, or to fail. Lord Eustace sits in his study, listening to the clamor of messengers and couriers bearing news from beyond the hills. The tone of their voices is soft, urgent. The subtle fear underlying their words presses against him. He studies maps, tracing roads and rivers, imagining the spread of this unseen visitor. Already, the structure of his authority feels the faint tremor of uncertainty. Lucien, the scribe, hears the whispers of traders passing through the gates. Words like illness, death, deserted, brushing against his ears like dry leaves in the wind. He dips his quill in ink, hesitates, then begins to write, chronicling the first tremors of fear for the village's memory, knowing that even the smallest record may become precious in the days ahead. And Sophie, the baker's apprentice, notices the absence of familiar children. The marketplace seems heavier, quieter. She carries her basket of warm bread, offering loaves with a softer smile, her eyes darting to see if anyone coughs. The laughter she once shared with the children feels fragile now, a delicate thread she hopes will endure. Eleanor watches from her garden as travelers arrive at the village gates, faces pale, eyes hollowed by worry. Whispers spill over the walls. She feels the pull of both, fear and compassion. She wants to close the gate, to protect her home. Yet her heart urges her to offer herbs, advice, and care. The first ethical choices of a world poised on the edge of change. In the monastery, Brother Anselm prepares the infirmary. He lays clean sheets, arranges bowls of water, and instructs novices on the measures to take. His voice is calm, deliberate, gentle, yet beneath it lies a quiet tremor, a premonition that these small acts may be all that holds back despair. Gideon measures wood for new carts, for coffins, for the possibility of empty streets. Each cut of the chisel, each plan of timber, carries weight. The rhythm of his work steadies his mind, even as the uncertainty creeps through the village. Isolde weaves quietly, the shuttle gliding through threads, weaving in both order and the unease she cannot name. Each pattern, each twist, each crossing of thread seems to echo the unfolding tension of life itself. Father Benedict walks among the villagers, murmuring blessings, encouraging conversation, soft laughter forced from lips that tremble. He watches the subtle glances exchanged, the silent prayers, the small gestures of reassurance, a community learning to brace for something unseen. Clara walks the riverbank, gathering herbs and noting their medicinal properties. She wonders how many will need her soon. Her hands tremble as she clips sage, imagining the first fevered children, the first families confined to small, darkened rooms. She hums a soft song of hope, letting it mingle with the rustle of leaves and the flow of water. Even the animals notice. The cat weaving through the market stalls pauses. The dog at the smithy's feet lifts its head, sniffing the wind. The subtle tension in the village reaches even the smallest creatures. And you, listening, you breathe alongside them, feeling the soft tremor of uncertainty without panic, noticing the slow unfolding of fear and responsibility, the delicate balance between life and mortality, the first whispers of change. Drifting softly over stone and timber, in the distance, a bell tolls, slow, deliberate, marking time, marking a world on the edge. The villagers continue their routines, each movement carrying both comfort and the weight of anticipation. Their eyes alert, their hearts tuned to the faintest tremor in the rhythm of life. Eleanor tends her garden with gentle care, Gideon works wood, Isolde weaves, Father Benedict blesses, Marcel listens to the forest. Clara gathers herbs, Lord Eustace ponders maps, Lucian writes. Sophie delivers bread, and the village breathes, each life a thread, each choice a soft step along the path toward the unknown. And now, as you settle deeper into your own quiet space, let the gentle stirrings of this world drift through your mind. Notice the calm before the storm, the tender beauty in daily life, the soft weight of uncertainty, and allow yourself to breathe, slowly, gently, softly. What if the gentle rhythm of your world began to shiver, the familiar sounds of morning softened by whispers, the laughter of children held back by cautious eyes? What if you could feel the first tremors of fear weaving through a village, like ripples across still water? Take a deep breath in and let it float out, slowly, gently. Let your shoulders sink, your hands rest, your mind drift along cobblestones, past cottages and timbered homes, over gardens and marketplaces, noticing the subtle change in the air. Eleanor moves carefully through her herb garden, each step deliberate. The leaves glisten with dew, yet she notices a shadow at the gate. Villagers passing cautiously, heads bent. She hears murmurs. Stay inside, avoid contact. Her heart flutters, but she continues tending her plants, gingerly touching rosemary, sage, and thyme, breathing in their faint, calming scent. She knows these herbs may comfort the sick, and perhaps, in small ways, she can shield the healthy. Gideon, the carpenter, pauses mid. Measurement. The absence of morning chatter has grown into a weight. His neighbors speak in hushed tones. Even the blacksmith, usually robust in laughter, swings the hammer with a quieter rhythm. Gideon tightens his grip on the wood, considers building barriers, screens for windows, a place to isolate the sick if needed. The practical mind of a craftsman at work, yet tinged with unease. Father Benedict walks through the village, observing the slow retreat of life from the streets. Some doors remain closed, shutters drawn. He blesses those he meets, whispers calm encouragements. God keep you, be safe. His voice wavers slightly, though no one notices. Even prayers cannot entirely chase away fear, and still, he moves steadily, an anchor for a drifting community. Isolde watches from her cottage window. The weaver's shuttle pauses in her hands, merchants avoiding the square, neighbors hesitating in greetings. A child runs past, coughing lightly. She grips the thread tighter, knots forming almost. Instinctively in her mind, a tapestry of concern begins to weave itself around the village, and she feels it quietly tighten around her own heart. Clara gathers her small satchel of herbs. She anticipates the first calls for help. Imagining families isolated in their homes, she practices her remedies softly, counting drops of tincture, folding poultices, preparing not only the medicine, but the courage to face frightened eyes and shaking hands. Her heart beats with both anticipation and care. Margot, the merchant woman, hurries through the marketplace, arranging her wares while watching the faces of travelers. She avoids lingering conversations. Her smiles are faint, polite, measured. She counts her goods carefully, already calculating what may be needed for longer days of isolation. The weight of survival threading through her actions, quiet but persistent. Sir Roland walks the castle walls, observing the village below. He notes which houses remain open, which families retreat indoors. He considers patrols to enforce safety, gentle measures to calm panic. Each decision carries the weight of life and death. He exhales slowly, feeling the tremor of responsibility pressed gently against him. Yet he moves forward with quiet resolve. Brother Anselm arranges the monastery infirmary, sheets folded neatly, bowls of water ready, herbs set for poultices. He instructs novices with calm precision. We must prepare, gently, carefully. For those who fall ill may need our hands, and our hearts. His words are steady, soft, yet beneath them is the current of fear, a recognition that human control is fragile, and yet human care can endure. Marcel in the forest notices travelers avoiding the main roads. Paths once bustling with activity are empty. He senses caution in the animals too. Deer pause longer. Birds hesitate in song. Even the wind seems heavier. He tightens his bow strap, moving carefully, silently, aware that all life is adjusting, instinctively, to the presence of something unseen. Lucien the scribe records events quietly, letters to distant relatives, chronicles for future generations, each word measured, deliberate. He notes not just illness, but human reactions, whispered warnings, small acts of kindness, doors closed, carts diverted. He writes as though capturing the pulse of history itself, softly, gently, as the world tilts toward uncertainty. Sophie, carrying bread to those who remain in their homes, moves with care. She leaves loaves on doorsteps, whispers greetings softly, steps back, notes who needs more. The absence of familiar laughter presses against her, yet she continues, steady, mindful, carrying sustenance and gentle reassurance. Even Eleanor's garden reflects the change. The plants untouched by fear, yet the gardener moves differently, pausing, watching, listening, considering which herbs may be of use. Rosemary for courage, sage for purification, thyme for comfort. Small acts of care in a world adjusting to whispered danger. The village adapts, slowly, cautiously. The rhythm of life remains, but subtly altered. Doors closed, footsteps quieter, greetings softer, hands washed with care, distance kept, every small measure a meditation on survival, a gentle choreography against the unseen. And you, listening, you drift alongside them, noticing the subtle shifts, the quiet tension in familiar routines, the gentle courage in preparation, the soft ripple of human ingenuity and care, the small, mindful acts that anchor life. The bells toll once, twice, echoing across the village, a soft reminder of time, of change, of the delicate balance between fear and calm. The villagers continue their steps, measured, gentle, attentive, each heartbeat part of a collective rhythm. Slow, steady, alive. Eleanor tends her herbs with care, Gideon measures and carves, Isolde weaves. Father Benedict blesses, Clara prepares remedies, Margot organizes goods, Sir Roland patrols the walls, Brother Anselm readies the infirmary, Marcel observes the forest, Lucian writes, Sophie delivers bread, and the village breathes, a fragile, careful breathing, a meditation in motion. And now, as you settle further into comfort, allow the calm diligence of this village to wash over you. Notice the careful movements, the quiet preparation, the gentle courage in daily life, and let yourself drift, softly, slowly, into the rhythm of safety, care, and the slow unfolding of history. What if, one morning you awoke to a village quieter than ever before, where footsteps on cobblestones echoed unnaturally, where the laughter of children had faded, and the air itself seemed to hold its breath? What if you could move through these streets, feeling the hush that settles over life when fear and uncertainty stretch their soft, invisible fingers? Take a slow, deep breath in and let it out, gently. Feel the weight of your body sinking into comfort. Imagine yourself walking alongside the villagers, observing the shift in rhythm, the delicate choreography of precaution. Eleanor steps into the garden path, dew clinging softly to leaves. She notices the absence of her neighbors, the familiar clatter of morning life missing. Her heart twists gently at the emptiness, yet she continues her work, tending herbs, whispering small prayers, rosemary, thyme, sage, each plant a companion, each breath a meditation. She wonders quietly how long the village will remain like this, silent, suspended. Gideon walks toward his workshop, his hammer silent for the first time, the clang of iron absent, the marketplace deserted, the streets lined with closed doors. He adjusts his tools carefully, noticing how even the rhythm of his own work feels slowed. His mind turns to carpentry for protection, for isolation, for the preparation of what may come, each measured strike of wood against wood a small anchor in the soft current of unease. Father Benedict walks the square, noting the absence of the usual crowd. The market stalls are empty, shutters drawn. He blesses the closed doors, murmuring prayers for those who remain behind. The silence presses gently against him, yet his footsteps remain calm, deliberate, a slow cadence of resilience in the hush. Isolde peers from her cottage window. The loom lies still, threads like frozen currents. She watches the streets with wide, soft eyes. Children no longer run. Dogs lie curled and quiet. Merchants move slowly, whispering greetings with lowered voices. Her fingers brush the threads, as though she could weave the silence itself into a comforting pattern. Clara, the healer, walks through the quiet streets with a small satchel. Her eyes observe every subtle cough, every hesitant step. She carries calm in her measured movements, speaking softly to those she passes. Her hands brush over herbs and water vials, offering comfort with small gestures, teaching the village that care can persist even in absence. Margot moves carefully through the marketplace, arranging goods that are rarely purchased: flour, dried beans, wool. She sets them neatly, a gentle routine to preserve normalcy. Her voice is soft when exchanged with those few who remain. Measured words, kind but cautious, each action a meditation on persistence, on maintaining a life when the usual rhythms vanish. Sir Roland paces the castle walls, eyes scanning the empty streets below, the absence of movement pressing lightly against his chest. He feels the responsibility to protect, yet he also senses the fragility of control, a knight observing not battle, but absence itself, moving deliberately, keeping watch over the silent rhythm of his lands. Brother Anselm tends the infirmary, the candles casting soft shadows over quiet rooms, the empty beds waiting. He checks herbs and water bowls, prepares for patients who may arrive, slowly, calmly, breathing with the rhythm of stillness, instructing novices to move gently, to speak softly, to let the quiet be a balm as much as the remedies. Marcel walks along the forest paths, noticing the soft hush among the animals. The wind carries whispers of absence. Deer step lightly, birds hesitate. He moves silently, a companion to life in its delicate pause. Even the forest seems aware, holding its breath alongside the village. Lucien the scribe writes slowly, documenting the hush, the absence of voices, the subtle gestures of caution, letters for those afar, chronicles for the future, each word chosen softly, carefully, preserving memory in the midst of quiet. The story of a village. Adjusting, listening, waiting. Sophie delivers bread with soft, careful steps, leaving loaves on doorsteps, whispering greetings, retreating without lingering, each movement deliberate, each gesture a meditation on care. The absence of laughter presses against her, yet she continues, a quiet rhythm of sustenance and reassurance. The streets themselves tell a story, empty carts resting against walls, shutters drawn, animals in stalls, silent. The air carries the scent of wood smoke, fresh bread, wet earth. A faint, underlying tension hums softly, a reminder of life and its fragility. Eleanor tends her herbs, Gideon carves and measures, Isolde watches from her window. Father Benedict blesses empty streets. Clara prepares remedies. Margot arranges goods. Sir Roland patrols walls. Brother Anselm readies the infirmary. Marcel observes. The forest. Lucien records. Sophie delivers bread. The village breathes. Slowly, carefully. Each movement deliberate, a meditation on existence. And you, listening, drift alongside them, feeling the hush, the soft rhythm, the subtle tension in the absence. Notice the courage in stillness, the persistence of care when life withdraws. Let the quiet embrace you. Let it settle into your chest, and breathe, softly, gently, slowly. The bell tolls once, echoing across the empty streets, a gentle, deliberate reminder of presence, of life, of calm vigilance. The villagers move with it, hearts attuned to the subtle rhythm of their world. The silent streets are space for reflection, for care, for measured courage. Step softly now, feel the hush of life, the soft weight of anticipation, the gentle bravery of small gestures, and let yourself drift with the village, through the quiet, through the pause, into the gentle unfolding of the days to come. What if the quiet of empty streets stretched beyond cottages and gardens, all the way to the castle walls? What if the unseen presence of change drifted even into the halls of power, touching lords and ladies, gently, silently, reshaping the balance of life? Take a deep, soft breath, in and out, slowly, letting your mind wander along the stone corridors of the castle, feeling the weight of history, the gentle pulse of human ambition, the subtle tremor of impermanence. Lord Eustace sits in his high chamber. Tall windows open to the morning light, maps spread before him, edges curling slightly from the damp air. He traces the roads with a finger, distant towns along the river, ports along the coast, each a thread in the web of his influence. Yet now, threads fray, uncertainty grows, villages empty, taxes dwindle, loyal retainers fall ill or vanish. He exhales slowly, the weight of responsibility settling over his shoulders like a soft cloak. Lady Beatrice, his sister, moves quietly along the corridor, her hands folded lightly over her apron. She arranges small details, candles, tapestries, cushions, her presence calm, deliberate. Yet her eyes flick toward the windows, toward the village below. She senses the shifting currents of power, the subtle imbalance growing, and quietly wonders how many lives will be lost before new order emerges. Sir Roland descends the spiral stair, observing the soldiers, the retainers, the small officials who manage day-to-day affairs, their steps cautious, conversations hushed. The energy of authority feels fragile now. He pauses at the gate, considering which measures to enforce, who to trust. The ways in which fear can be both protective and dangerous, each decision weighted with consequence. Eleanor, though distant from these halls, notices the castle above, flags still fluttering. But the corridors are quieter than usual. She wonders who guides the laws that shape her life, who decides which families will receive aid, which may be left behind, and the thought drifts through her mind like a leaf on the river. She breathes, focusing back on the garden, the herbs, the rhythm of small, steady life. Margot observes the merchants delivering to the castle, faces pale, steps careful. She wonders which contracts will falter, which nobles may close gates. Her soft voice speaks in reassurance to traders and assistants. Yet her eyes scan the corridors of power, noting subtle shifts. Who rises in influence? Who hesitates? Who may falter? Father Benedict walks along the walls, entering the chapel quietly. He prays for the nobles, for the soldiers, for the common folk, for guidance in leadership. He whispers blessings for discernment and wisdom, knowing that human lives hang delicately in the hands of those above. The quiet power of prayer threading through the stone and air. Brother Anselm tends the small infirmary within the castle walls, attending to sick retainers and servants, noting how even in the higher chambers, the unseen sickness moves silently. He arranges herbs and bowls of water, instructs attendants, soft hands and softer words, bringing calm where tension could rise. Gideon notices castle workers moving more cautiously, gates opening and closing less frequently, messages delivered with care, the rhythm of the village extending to the very heart of authority, the structures of power adapting, bending, responding to absence, to fragility, to whispered fear. Isolde hears from her neighbors about changes at the castle. A retainer gone, a tax delayed, subtle decisions trickling down. She threads this information into her weaving, imagining the ways in which invisible forces shape her world. Small details, small threads, weaving the story of life under influence. Clara gathers herbs for a message-bound basket, one intended for the castle infirmary. She imagines the nobles' quiet tension, the hands of those in power holding maps, ledgers, keys, soft gestures that may decide who survives or who waits, and she moves carefully, each step measured, each herb weighed, each motion deliberate. Lucian writes chronicles of the castle's subtle adjustments, notes the guards' rotations, the servants' careful movements, the small shifts in power that ripple outward. He captures the quiet drama of influence, the invisible tides that move without raising a sound. His quill glides softly, recording not just names, but movements, choices, whispers. small acts of human strategy and survival. Sophie, moving through the village to deliver bread, notices the castle gates. Fewer visitors, more silence. She wonders how those in the towers decide which lives hold priority, and she breathes quietly, returning focus to her small gestures of care. Bread on a doorstep, a soft word, a warm loaf, a reassurance in a world tilted by uncertainty. Even Marcel in the forest senses the shift. He notices changes in the patterns of travelers approaching the village. Gates closed, paths altered, the quiet tension of authority reflecting in the landscape itself. He moves carefully among the trees, companion to life adjusting quietly. Instinctive, aware, patient. Eleanor tends herbs, Gideon works, Isolde watches, Father Benedict blesses, Margot arranges deliveries, Sir Roland patrols, Brother Anselm cares, Clara prepares remedies, Lucien writes, Sophie delivers bread, Marcel observes the forest. The village breathes, each heartbeat mindful, each step deliberate, the rhythm of survival weaving through streets, forests, and halls of power, and you, listening, drift among them, sensing the gentle tremor of influence, the quiet reshaping of life, the subtle rise and fall of authority. Notice the courage, the care, the meditation in each decision. Feel it wash over you, slow, steady, calming. A bell tolls softly, echoing across the village and castle alike, a reminder of the quiet strength, the fragility, and the unfolding flow of human life. Each character, each heartbeat, each choice, part of the slow, intricate pattern. The pattern of power. Step softly now. Allow the gentle awareness of shifting influence to settle into your mind. Breathe with the rhythm of care, of patience, of quiet resilience, and drift, slowly, gently, alongside the village, alongside the nobles, into the unfolding story of change. What if the rhythm of life in the village seemed fragile, yet within the monastery walls, time moved softly, measured by the tolling of bells, the turning of pages, the quiet steps on stone floors? What if you could wander these cloisters and feel the gentle persistence of faith, of care, of reflection? Breathe slowly, in and out, letting your body sink deeper. Imagine the soft echo of monks' footsteps, the rustle of robes, the faint scent of incense, candlelight flickering against stone. Calm, steady, slow. Brother Anselm walks the quiet corridors, quill in hand, tracing letters across parchment. He writes chronicles of distant towns, of villages touched by illness, of the ways the world shifts silently, each word deliberate, each stroke a meditation. He pauses, glances to the side where a young novice arranges herbs, teaching care through small, careful actions. Novice Thomas moves softly, carrying a basket of dried herbs, arranging bundles of sage, thyme, and rosemary, his hands gentle, precise. He listens to Brother Anselm's murmured instructions, learning patience, learning observation, learning the weight of small acts. He pauses, noticing a faint light on the horizon, imagining the village below, the distant castle, the roads that carry both hope and fear. Brother Benedict tends the infirmary within the monastery. Soft blankets laid over wooden cots, bowls of water ready, the faint scent of chamomile and lavender filling the air. He checks each space carefully, imagining the faces of those who may come. Seeking comfort, each step a slow ritual, each breath deliberate, preparing not only for illness, but for the gentle act of presence itself. Sister Agnes, though quieter, moves through the small herb garden outside, gathering leaves and roots for teas and poultices. She hums softly, a song learned long ago, the melody drifting with the morning breeze. She considers the villagers, the nobles, the travelers who may pass, and her care flows silently, through the herbs, through the tinctures, through the quiet gestures of preparation. Eleanor watches the monastery bell tower from her garden, seeing the soft sway of the rope, hearing the echo of its gentle toll. She senses calm there, order, ritual, and draws comfort from the knowledge that human hands, guided by faith and care, are preparing for what the world may bring. She breathes, returning to her herbs, imagining the threads of protection stretching softly between village and cloister. Gideon passes the monastery gate with his wagon, stopping to nod at a monk tending the outer gardens. Their exchange is quiet, almost imperceptible, a shared recognition that life continues, even as uncertainty looms. The carpenter feels a subtle reassurance, small gestures holding weight, small presences anchoring the world. Father Benedict walks slowly through the cloister, robes brushing stone, offering whispered blessings, guiding prayers, soft words that carry both reassurance and reflection. He notices each novice moving gently, each monk attentive, and he feels the quiet strength of routine, the steady heartbeat of devotion, even in the face of distant fear. Lucian, the scribe, enters the monastery briefly, collecting accounts of monks' daily routines, their preparation for tending the sick. He records quietly, each word soft, each sentence deliberate, chronicling the ways in which spiritual care sustains the living, preserving memory for generations yet to come. Sophie passes near the monastery walls, carrying bread. Noticing the monks working, she leaves a loaf at the small gate, a soft gesture, barely spoken, yet it carries reassurance, nourishment, connection, even amid distance, amid stillness. Even Marcel in the forest senses the calm energy radiating from the cloister. Birds pause briefly on branches. Deer linger near the edges. The monastery seems to hold the world in gentle balance, its quiet presence anchoring life in ways invisible, yet profoundly felt, within these walls. The monks' lives are slow, deliberate rhythm. Prayers, tending herbs, caring for the sick, recording chronicles, each movement deliberate, each breath a meditation, a quiet reflection of resilience, a soft resistance to the fear spreading outside. Eleanor tends herbs, Brother Anselm writes, Novice Thomas arranges bundles, Brother Benedict prepares the infirmary, Sister Agnes gathers leaves, Father Benedict blesses, Gideon nods, Lucian records, Sophie delivers bread, Marcel observes, the monastery breathes, slow, steady, a gentle pulse echoing outward, through stone walls, through village streets, through hearts and minds, and you, listening, drift with them, sensing the calm, the quiet diligence, the meditation of small actions, the soft strength of faith and care. Notice the gentle rhythm of life inside these walls. Let it echo within your chest, and breathe, slowly, softly, letting the quiet anchor you. The bell tolls once, soft, deliberate, marking the passage of time, a reminder that even in the hush, life persists. Small acts of care ripple outward, weaving protection, patience, and resilience. Step gently now, imagine the candles glow, the scent of herbs, the soft shuffle of robes, and drift alongside these monks, into calm reflection, into meditative peace, into the slow unfolding of a world shaped by both fear and care. What if you could step softly into the cottages of the village, into kitchens warm with hearths, where bread simmers and firelight flickers across wooden beams? What if you could feel the tender pulse of daily life, of families tending one another, of routines that hold a fragile world together? Take a deep, slow breath, in and out, gently. Feel the warmth of imagined hearths, the soft weight of woolen blankets, the gentle murmur of voices carried through small rooms. Eleanor steps quietly into her own cottage, the scent of herbs mingling with warm bread. She tends a small garden, then kneels to braid strands of wool for her neighbor's child. Soft gestures of care, her fingers moving deliberately, each motion a meditation. She listens for the faint cough of a neighbor or the distant bell. Alert, yet calm, Gideon returns from the workshop, carrying timber, tools clinking softly in the fading light. He pauses at his doorway, noticing the children playing quietly in the courtyard, their laughter muted. He smiles faintly, remembering his own youth, and sets down his load, greeting the family within. Careful gestures, soft words, the rhythm of protection and care. Margot sits with her family at a small table, counting coins, weighing flour, distributing bread for the next day. Her youngest child brushes crumbs from her apron. She laughs softly, a melody that eases tension, and yet her eyes drift toward the street, toward the empty marketplace, wondering which families will return, and which may never come back. Father Benedict visits families gently, whispering blessings, kneeling beside children, speaking quiet prayers for the health of mothers and fathers. His voice is soft, measured, a thread of calm through each home he enters. He lingers just enough to impart reassurance, a sense that life, even fragile, continues. Clara tends the sick quietly, moving between cottages with her satchel of herbs, soft footsteps on worn wooden floors, measuring teas and tinctures, whispering words of comfort. Her presence a small, steady anchor, calming trembling hands, easing fevered foreheads, teaching families, softly, the delicate art of care. Novice Thomas accompanies her occasionally, holding bowls of water, carrying bundles of herbs, learning the subtle patience of observation, noticing how a hand laid gently on a shoulder, a soft smile, a whispered word, can soothe as much as medicine itself. The rhythm of human connection, delicate and profound. Isolde moves through her home with measured attention. The loom paused. For a moment, she folds clothes, tends a small fire, notices her children quietly reading or drawing, teaches them softly, reminding them of small joys. She moves deliberately, each gesture reinforcing the fragile stability of domestic life. Sir Roland, visiting his people, walks the quieter streets, observes families keeping distance, nods respectfully to heads of households. His armor softened by the sun, he carries authority, yes, but tempered by care, offering help, advice, small comforts, letting presence, rather than command, reassure the villagers. Lucian records stories within cottages, noting both facts and gestures. A mother smoothing her child's hair, a father arranging wood for the hearth, children laughing softly despite fear. He writes slowly, deliberately, capturing warmth and resilience amid quiet unease. Chronicling the heartbeat of the village, Sophie delivers bread, knocking gently, retreating softly, leaving warm loaves. A subtle reassurance. She notices subtle changes, the way hands tremble while taking a loaf, the way eyes meet hers with gratitude and quiet anxiety. Her own heartbeat softens in rhythm with theirs. Small acts bridging distance, sustaining connection. Even Marcel, outside the village, senses life in its domestic rhythms. A dog barking softly in a courtyard, the faint call of a child, the whisper of wood smoke curling skyward, the quiet harmony of daily rituals anchoring the world. He moves silently, companion to these rhythms, observing the fragile balance. Eleanor braids wool, Gideon carries timber, Margot organizes supplies, Father Benedict blesses, Clara tends the sick, Novice Thomas assists, Isolde tends children, Sir Roland observes, Lucian records, Sophie delivers bread, Marcel watches the edges. The village breathes, small, deliberate, human gestures, each heartbeat a note in the calm symphony of life. And you, listening, drift softly through these cottages, sensing warmth, tenderness, quiet bravery. Notice the beauty in small gestures, the courage in daily routines, the rhythm of care and connection. Let it wash over you, gently, slowly, softly. The hearths flicker, the candles glow. Footsteps and whispers echo softly through the halls. Life persists, subtle, delicate, resilient, a gentle pulse guiding the village through uncertainty. Step quietly now. Feel the weight of soft hands, warm bread, the flicker of flame. Breathe with the rhythm of domestic life, and drift, slowly, gently, through the calm heart of the village. What if the heart of the village, the bustling marketplace, began to feel emptier, quieter, the usual hum of barter and chatter fading? What if you could drift among the stalls, feeling the subtle tension in the air, the gentle disruption of trade, yet noticing the resilience woven into every careful gesture? Take a slow, deep breath, in and out, letting your mind drift through the open square, imagining the faint scent of spices, bread, and wet earth, the soft clatter of carts, now subdued, the delicate rhythm of adaptation. Margot arranges her wares carefully, bolts of wool, dried herbs, small wooden toys. Her hands move with practiced precision, yet the absence of customers presses softly on her chest. Travelers who once arrived regularly are delayed, some merchants turn away, and she adapts, offering goods door to door, whispering soft greetings, each motion deliberate, each gesture a small act of survival. Gideon notices the empty stalls as he passes through the square, the blacksmith's hammer less frequent, the baker's oven cooling earlier. He nods quietly to neighbors, soft words of encouragement. We adjust, we endure, step by step. Each nod, each smile, carries weight, grounding the village in the rhythm of continuity despite absence. Eleanor moves among the stalls, carrying bundles of herbs, offering advice and tinctures to those cautious shoppers who linger. She senses worry in every glance, yet her calm presence, her gentle words, offer reassurance. Her hands brush the small wares as she moves, grounding both herself and those she touches. Father Benedict walks slowly through the marketplace, murmuring blessings, noticing subtle acts of kindness, a loaf offered to a neighbor, a coin exchanged quietly, a careful measurement of grain, each gesture a thread in the delicate fabric of communal survival. He speaks softly, guiding hearts as much as hands, a quiet anchor in the soft disruption. Clara moves between homes and market stalls, delivering herbs and advice. Her presence is gentle, deliberate, showing the villagers how to adjust, to measure portions carefully, to boil water, to care without panic. She hums softly, the faint melody mingling with the subdued clamor of commerce, teaching patience and care in small gestures. Sophie weaves through the square, carrying bread, leaving small loaves at quiet doorsteps, each delivery a soft rhythm, a subtle reassurance. Her steps measured, her voice gentle, acknowledging the scarcity of interaction. Her actions a bridge between absence and connection. Isolde watches from her window, noting the shifting patterns, neighbors moving cautiously, children playing softly in narrow alleys. The merchant carts arriving later, fewer coins exchanged. She folds cloth and arranges supplies, a soft hum accompanying her work, imagining the village weaving itself through adaptation. Sir Roland observes from the castle walls, noting which roads remain active, which traders approach cautiously. He considers gentle measures to protect commerce, ensuring supply without spreading fear. His careful presence reinforces stability, the quiet authority moving like a current beneath the muted bustle. Brother Anselm checks the monastery's store of herbs and provisions, coordinating with traders who remain, each interaction measured, deliberate, soft words, careful exchanges, preserving both life and goodwill. His presence a subtle thread holding continuity amidst uncertainty. Lucien walks slowly through the marketplace, quill in hand, recording details, noting expressions of concern, acts of generosity, subtle shifts in behavior, documenting not only goods and prices, but human resilience. the ways in which adaptation and care ripple gently through everyday commerce. Even Marcel, at the edges of the village, senses the subtle change. The routes through the forest less traveled, the distant clatter of carts reduced. Yet life persists. A deer moves slowly through the underbrush, a bird perches lightly on a branch. The natural world adjusting alongside the human. Softly, deliberately, patiently. Eleanor tends her herbs, Gideon nods quietly, Margot arranges wares, Father Benedict blesses, Clara delivers remedies, Sophie carries bread, Isolde observes, Sir Roland surveys, Brother Anselm coordinates, Lucian records, Marcel watches. The village breathes, each small act a quiet affirmation, each heartbeat a subtle drum of resilience. And you, listening, drift among them, noticing the calm in cautious movements, the gentle courage in adaptation, the soft rhythm of care interwoven with scarcity, the quiet persistence of life. Breathe, slowly, gently, softly. The marketplace hums quietly, less loud than before, yet every measured motion, every small act of trade, carries significance, reassurance, hope, continuity. A soft pulse anchoring the village amidst disruption. Step softly now, feel the weight of careful hands, the rhythm of cautious exchanges, the gentle endurance of human life, and drift, slowly, gently, into the calm persistence of the village, navigating change. What if the quiet of the village, carefully maintained, was pierced by the first sharp notes of absence, a cough too deep, a face pale, a home shuttered? What if you could follow the soft ripple of grief as it spreads gently through familiar streets? Take a slow, deliberate breath, in and out, letting the weight of loss settle softly. Feel it as a shadow brushing the edges of the village, yet not harshly, not abruptly, just a soft, inevitable shift. Eleanor hears the news first in whispers. A neighbor, once vibrant, now confined to bed, fever burning. Her heart tightens. She tends her herbs more carefully, measuring teas and poultices with added precision. Yet she pauses often, letting herself breathe, letting sorrow drift in gently. A recognition that life, however tender, carries fragility. Gideon pauses mid-work, the hammer silent in his hand. A family in the village has lost a member. The echo of absence presses softly against his chest. He sits quietly for a moment, imagining their pain, then rises. Adjusting tools, preparing timber, small acts of creation as counterpoint to grief, each measured movement a meditation. Father Benedict walks from cottage to cottage, offering quiet prayers, gentle words, his voice soft, deliberate. He lingers in homes touched by loss, holding hands, offering blessing, murmuring comfort. The tears of the living mingling with his whispered prayers. He feels the delicate weight of each human life, of each fragile heartbeat. Clara moves through cottages, her satchel of herbs, heavier with purpose, delivering remedies, yet aware that medicine cannot always restore what is lost. She kneels beside beds, smoothing blankets, brushing hair back from fevered foreheads, whispering reassurance, a small warmth amid the creeping chill of sorrow. Sophie walks quietly, carrying bread. She notices doors closed more often, families mourning, steps slowed, faces drawn. She leaves loaves gently, whispers soft encouragement, retreats without interruption, each step a gentle meditation on sustaining life, even as grief touches it. Isolde pauses by her loom. Threads in her hands seem suddenly fragile. She looks toward her neighbors' cottages, children peeking from behind doors, parents whispering quietly. She hums softly, letting the melody carry reassurance, weaving a mental tapestry of hope, small and resilient. Margot counts her remaining goods, the market quieter still. Her mind drifts to families she has served. Noting those who may have lost loved ones, she moves with care, offering supplies discreetly, softly, gestures of sustenance mingling with awareness of sorrow. Sir Roland descends from the castle, observing the village, noting families retreating, doors closed, steps hesitant. He pauses to offer counsel to grieving households, measured words, soft assurances, presence, rather than command, comforting those adjusting to absence. Brother Anselm prepares the infirmary, soft blankets over small bodies, bowls of water set gently at bedside, herbs ready for treatment. He moves quietly, guiding novices through acts of care, each motion deliberate, soft, infused with reflection. Teaching the young the rhythm of tending to both life and sorrow, novice Thomas listens, assists, carries water, herbs, notes the trembling hands, the soft sighs, each gesture a lesson, each act of care a meditation. Observing how presence can heal, even when loss cannot be prevented, Lucian writes slowly, recording not only deaths, but the soft acts of support, the whispered condolences, the subtle gestures of connection, chronicling resilience in the face of loss, capturing the quiet dignity of grief. Marcel in the forest senses the change, the subtle hush among animals, the quiet tension in the wind. He moves lightly, observing, aware that even in absence, life persists. The world adapts, slowly, gently. Eleanor tends herbs, Gideon works timber, Father Benedict blesses, Clara delivers remedies, Sophie leaves bread, Isolde hums by the loom, Margot arranges supplies, Sir Roland observes, Brother Anselm prepares the infirmary, novice Thomas assists, Lucian records, Marcel watches, the village breathes, even through grief, each small act a thread anchoring life, and you, listening, drift alongside them, feeling the gentle pulse of sorrow, noticing the quiet courage in each measured step, the subtle acts of care that continue amid loss, the soft rhythm of life adapting. Breathe, slowly, gently. The bell tolls once, soft, deliberate, echoing through streets and cottages, a reminder of lives lived, of fragility, of resilience. The village endures, softly, patiently, each heartbeat a meditation. Step gently now, feel the quiet strength in small gestures, the soft courage of presence. Let the awareness of loss and care settle around you, and drift, slowly, gently, with the village, into calm reflection. What if, as the quiet weight of loss touched the village, a gentle current of support began to flow, soft hands reaching out, meals shared, words whispered, care passing quietly from one neighbor to another? What if you could feel the invisible threads of community weaving slowly, deliberately, beneath the hush of uncertainty? Take a deep, slow breath, in and out, letting your mind drift through narrow lanes and cottage doors, noticing small gestures, soft reassurances, the rhythm of connection. Eleanor moves between homes, baskets of herbs in her arms. She pauses at a door where the mother of 3 children rests, her husband ill. She kneels, arranging a small sachet of thyme and chamomile, whispering gentle instructions. Brew slowly, sip often, rest when you can. The mother nods quietly, relief softening her tense features. Eleanor smiles faintly, each act a meditation on kindness. Gideon carries firewood to the homes of neighbors. Stepping carefully along uneven streets, he notices small exchanges. A loaf passed through a window, a jug of water offered, a nod of gratitude. His own heartbeat slows in response. The rhythm of giving and receiving, subtle but persistent. He feels the quiet power of shared responsibility. Father Benedict moves softly through the village, blessing homes, kneeling beside the ill, offering a quiet shoulder to those burdened with grief. He murmurs prayers not only for health, but for strength, for patience, for the courage to continue small acts of support. His footsteps a steady cadence through the hush. Clara distributes herbal remedies among neighbors, teaching softly, step by step. How to measure, how to care. She notices trembling hands and sunken eyes, offers gentle encouragement. You can do this. Care slowly, carefully. Her voice carries reassurance, her presence a quiet anchor in turbulent days. Sophie leaves bread at doorsteps, softly calling the names of those who remain. A gentle smile, a nod. She steps back, watches the soft exchange of gratitude, feeling the warmth of connection even in distance. The rhythm of support passing from one home to another. Isolde walks through her own street, carrying folded blankets and clothing for families in need. Children watch her with wide eyes. She explains softly, showing them how to help. The small gestures becoming lessons in empathy and responsibility, weaving a tapestry of community through her deliberate, careful actions. Margot organizes shared supplies, ensuring that flour and dried beans reach those most in need. She coordinates quietly with neighbors, soft words, subtle directions. Her presence a stabilizing thread, helping commerce and generosity intertwine. Each step deliberate, each exchange gentle. Sir Roland observes the village, noting where help is most needed. He dispatches assistance with careful instructions, advice and reassurance flowing quietly. He recognizes the importance of measured support, of gentle guidance. His authority serving not as command, but as a framework for compassion. Brother Anselm guides novices, helping them carry water and herbs, teaching them the rhythm of communal care. Each step, each hand extended, a lesson in responsibility. A meditation on the quiet strength that sustains a village. Novice Thomas moves among neighbors, assisting, learning, observing, noticing the subtle gestures that carry meaning. A pat on the back, a soft word, a shared cup of tea, learning that even small acts ripple outward. Weaving stability and calm, Lucian writes slowly, documenting not only illness, but the quiet acts of connection. How neighbors offer bread, herbs, blankets. How families bend toward each other in gentle solidarity, capturing the soft heartbeat of community resilience. Even Marcel in the forest senses the shifting energy, the subtle movement of animals closer to the village, the soft stirrings of awareness, the current of support that flows quietly through streets, gardens, and households. Life adapting, observing, sustaining. Eleanor delivers herbs. Gideon carries wood. Father Benedict blesses. Clara distributes remedies. Sophie leaves bread. Isolde organizes blankets. Margot shares supplies. Sir Roland guides. Brother Anselm teaches. Novice Thomas assists. Lucian records. Marcel watches. The village breathes, each act a thread in the quiet tapestry of community. And you, listening, drift gently among them, feeling the warmth of small gestures, the subtle courage in offering help, the meditative rhythm of care passing from one hand to another. Notice the beauty in ordinary acts, the strength in quiet presence. Breathe, slowly, softly. The bell tolls once, soft, deliberate, echoing across the village, a reminder of connection, of resilience, of life carried together, each heartbeat part of a greater rhythm. The village endures, calmly, patiently. Step softly now, let the awareness of support, of community, settle into your chest. Let it wrap around you like a warm blanket, and drift, slowly, gently, with the villagers, into calm reflection. What if you could step gently into the homes of the village, where herbs line wooden shelves, where the scent of chamomile and sage drifts through the air? What if you could observe the careful, quiet rituals of healing, small acts that carry weight far beyond their appearance? Take a deep, soft breath, in and out, letting your mind wander through these cottages and courtyards, noticing small gestures, subtle sounds, the rhythm of care, the soft repetition of attention. Eleanor tends her herb garden, gently, plucking leaves of thyme, sage, and rosemary. She crushes them slowly, inhaling the fragrance, imagining each tincture easing the fevered brow of a neighbor. Her fingers move deliberately, soft motions, meditative, each a tiny act of preservation. Clara kneels beside a sick child, her satchel open with carefully labeled jars and vials. She measures out teas, whispers instructions softly, sips slowly, rest often. Her hand brushes a damp forehead. She breathes with the child, softens her presence. Each gesture a meditation on patience and care. Novice Thomas watches carefully, holding a bowl of warm water, noting Clara's gentle rhythm. He mirrors her movements, learning that healing is as much in presence and attentiveness as in the herbs themselves. He inhales slowly, matching his breath to the quiet pulse of care. Margot prepares soothing teas for families, boiling water gently, adding chamomile and lavender. She hums softly, her voice mingling with the faint hiss of the kettle. Each cup a small ritual, each act a bridge between anxiety and comfort. Father Benedict moves among the cottages, offering prayers over poultices, blessing the brewing herbs, murmuring comfort to those too weak to rise. His presence itself becomes a remedy, a soft meditation on the power of calm and attention. Gideon constructs small herbal racks and drying frames, his hands steady, each notch measured, each plank sanded carefully. Even in timber, he provides healing, arranging herbs for optimal drying, ensuring the villagers will have remedies for months to come. His work deliberate, rhythmic, quiet. Isolde watches from her window, taking note of remedies being prepared, folding cloths into tidy stacks, helping children learn to wash hands and tend wounds. She whispers guidance softly, guiding young hands with patience, weaving lessons in care alongside daily chores. Brother Anselm prepares the monastery's infirmary, laying out clean sheets, arranging bowls of water and bundles of dried herbs, teaching novices to handle delicate medicines with gentle precision, showing them that every soft step, every careful measurement, is an act of devotion. Lucian records remedies in his chronicles, noting proportions, observations, effects, capturing the human story of care, documenting the quiet acts of preservation that may one day save lives. Each word a thread woven carefully, each sentence deliberate and soft. Sophie carries small parcels of remedies, leaving them at doorsteps, whispering soft instructions, retreating with measured steps, her presence gentle, a link between the healer and the family, sustaining life through both action and connection. Even Marcel in the forest senses the soft pulse of care, the herbs growing quietly, the plants bending with the wind. He notices the subtle balance of nature supporting human efforts, a reminder that life, though fragile, persists through observation, attention, and gentle hands. Eleanor crushes leaves, Clara mixes teas, Novice Thomas assists, Margot brews, Father Benedict blesses, Gideon constructs racks, Isolde teaches, Brother Anselm guides, Lucian records, Sophie delivers, Marcel watches. The village breathes, a slow, deliberate rhythm, small acts of care weaving a quiet tapestry of resilience. And you, listening, drift among them, inhaling the faint scent of herbs, noticing each gentle gesture, the soft pulse of attention, of patience, of presence, the meditative rhythm of healing. Breathe, slowly, softly. The bell tolls once, soft, deliberate, a reminder of care, of connection, of life preserved through quiet attention, each heartbeat a note in the slow symphony of survival. Step gently now, feel the warmth of small acts, the rhythm of preparation, the quiet strength of hands tending life, and drift, slowly, gently, into calm reflection. What if the quiet struggles of a village could be echoed in a city far away, where streets are wider, markets louder, and life seemingly grander, yet fear and uncertainty drift there as gently, invisibly, as smoke? What if You could step softly into that world and witness the human threads connecting town and city, near and far. Take a slow, deep breath, in and out, letting the pulse of distant streets settle gently in your mind. Imagine cobblestones stretching beneath your feet, the scent of bread, leather, and smoke curling through alleys. Soft voices calling, distant bells tolling, a gentle rhythm of life. Marcel, returning briefly from the forest, recounts tales to the villagers, stories of travelers from the city, how merchants whisper of missing shipments, of families isolating themselves behind large gates. The subtle tremor of fear weaving through grander homes, echoing the small anxieties of the village, each tale delivered softly. Like a parable, a meditation on shared fragility, Eleanor listens intently, imagining gardens in courtyards far larger than her own, herbs carefully tended, children playing within walled enclosures. She compares their worries to hers, to the rhythm of her village, noticing how care and vigilance, even far away, mirror her own. She breathes slowly, grounding herself in connection, rather than distance. Gideon considers the city workshops, where carpenters hammer and shape wood with more hands, more noise. Yet the rhythm of labor, the careful shaping of timber, mirrors his own practice. Even in distant places, the pulse of work remains a soft anchor for those who toil. He imagines bridges and gates, and small carpentry projects sustaining the lives of families. Quietly, steadily, Margot hears from traveling merchants, tales of delayed shipments, empty carts, distant markets adjusting in real time to fear. She imagines her own goods transported through these hands, sees the human effort behind every loaf, every bolt of cloth, every bundle of herbs. Her mind softens, gratitude mingling with concern. She folds letters into her ledger, carefully, planning for contingencies. Father Benedict reflects on priests in the city, their prayers echoing through stone chapels and wide halls, whispering blessings for those he has never met. The same rhythm of care, quiet presence, and human compassion carrying across distance. He feels a subtle kinship, a soft tether connecting his small parish to larger hearts. Clara imagines distant healers, apothecaries mixing tinctures, in silent chambers, carrying remedies to isolated homes, soft gestures, careful hands, her own actions mirrored in hundreds of unseen hands. The shared meditation of care spanning miles. She inhales slowly, feeling connection rather than separation. Isolde envisions weavers and seamstresses in the city, threads crossing fingers, patterns forming slowly, children watching quietly. The rhythm of daily life, domestic care, and gentle instruction echoing her own lessons. She hums softly, letting her melody mingle with imagined city songs. Lucian records the stories, writing of city households, of merchants adjusting routes, of craftsmen improvising, of priests comforting, healers preparing, families grieving. He writes softly, deliberately, capturing the human spirit in its subtle repetition and connection, documenting resilience across distance. Sophie imagines herself delivering bread in the city, small doorways in wide streets, families receiving sustenance cautiously, her careful steps mirrored in hundreds of similar acts, the quiet pulse of generosity, resilient and persistent, carrying warmth across miles. Sir Roland considers the distant city walls, guards pacing towers, decisions made quietly, carefully, merchants seeking permission to enter gates. A similar rhythm of vigilance and adaptation mirrored in his own stewardship. He exhales slowly, appreciating the universality of measured care. Brother Anselm meditates on the shared human ritual, how monks, priests, and healers, near and far, all tend to life with gentle attention. Each small gesture, a soft thread in a larger tapestry. Every act of care a meditation, a prayer, a contribution to the quiet endurance of communities. Even Marcel senses the subtle flow, the animals in forests near and far, travelers moving cautiously along distant roads. The invisible pattern of human adaptation reflected in nature. Each heartbeat, each step, soft, deliberate, interconnected. Eleanor tends herbs, Gideon works. Margot organizes supplies. Father Benedict blesses. Clara prepares remedies. Isolde hums softly. Lucian records. Sophie delivers bread. Sir Roland observes. Brother Anselm guides. Marcel watches. The village breathes, and beyond it, distant cities hum a similar, gentle rhythm, and you, listening, drift with them, imagining streets and courtyards far from your village, sensing the soft pulse of care, the quiet bravery of everyday actions. Notice how connection can exist without proximity. Feel the subtle thread linking hearts and hands. Breathe, slowly, softly. The bell tolls once, soft, echoing not just in the village, but imagined across city rooftops. A gentle reminder of life, of continuity, of shared resilience, each heartbeat part of a broader pattern, the distant and the near intertwined. Step gently now. Let the awareness of human connection stretch across miles. Let it settle around you, and drift, slowly, gently, alongside the village and the distant city, into calm reflection. What if you could follow the soft footsteps of travelers along dusty roads, hear the quiet stories carried between villages, the gentle murmurs of merchants who carry news, goods, and whispers of distant places? What if you could feel how these journeys weave unseen threads of connection? Take a deep, slow breath, in and out, letting your mind drift along winding paths, imagining wagons creaking softly, wheels stirring up warm dust, the distant bray of mules, the subtle rhythm of life on the road. Margot listens carefully to a returning merchant, his voice low, carrying news of distant towns. Markets adjusting, families isolating, new challenges emerging. She nods slowly, absorbing the information, weaving plans for her own supplies. Soft gestures and quiet words carrying weight. Gideon hears of artisans in neighboring villages, carpenters improvising to meet local needs, blacksmiths adjusting their schedules. He imagines their hands shaping wood and metal, the subtle rhythm of craft traveling through the countryside, a shared meditation on labor and persistence. Eleanor tends herbs while the traveler speaks, noting what remedies are scarce, imagining how distant towns care for their sick. She compares their practices to her own, considers small adaptations, the soft pulse of wisdom traveling across paths and borders. Father Benedict receives merchants at the church doorway, offers a blessing, soft words, deliberate steps. He listens to accounts of distant monasteries assisting families, of priests comforting travelers, the gentle hum of shared purpose echoing through the air. Clara examines a small bundle of herbs brought by a traveler, recognizing familiar scents, noticing subtle differences in drying methods. She nods softly, knowledge passing quietly from hand to hand, a meditation on observation, continuity, and care. Isolde imagines children in distant towns, weaving cloth and helping parents, the soft echo of domestic routines mirroring her own. She hums gently, connecting hearts through imagined patterns and rhythms, small hands learning to contribute quietly, deliberately. Sir Roland considers the paths themselves, the safety of travelers, the flow of commerce, the delicate decisions that shape survival, his mind moving slowly, deliberately, the gentle responsibility of protection carrying weight in quiet, unspoken ways. Lucian records each story, carefully, deliberately, documenting the traders' accounts, the travelers' gestures, the subtle acts of adaptation, each word capturing the soft pulse of human endurance across roads, towns, and forests, preserving memory in quiet detail. Sophie greets merchants at the edge of the village, offering bread, soft smiles exchanged. small gestures anchoring connection. She watches as goods are unloaded carefully, observes families receiving supplies, the rhythm of generosity extending outward, subtle, deliberate, persistent. Brother Anselm notes the supplies being delivered, arranges herbs and remedies, guides novices in cataloguing and storing goods, each movement slow, careful, meditative, teaching the art of attention and presence, each gesture a thread in the tapestry of community resilience. Novice Thomas assists, quietly observing, learning how the flow of goods, knowledge, and care travels beyond immediate walls, noticing how each small gesture, each measured step, sustains life across distances. Even Marcel in the forest senses the energy of travelers, the subtle stirrings of animals shifting with passing footsteps, the gentle pulse of movement across the land, life adjusting to the rhythm of commerce and connection. Eleanor tends herbs, Gideon shapes wood, Margot organizes goods, Father Benedict blesses, Clara examines remedies, Isolde hums, Sir Roland observes, Lucian records, Sophie greets travelers, Brother Anselm guides, Novice Thomas assists, Marcel watches, the village breathes, quietly, each thread of interaction contributing to the subtle rhythm of continuity. And you, listening, drift softly along the roads, noticing the gentle pulse of commerce and human connection, the quiet courage in each gesture, the soft, deliberate movement of life continuing amid uncertainty. Breathe, slowly, softly. The bell tolls once, soft, echoing across the village and distant roads, a reminder of connection, movement, and resilience, each heartbeat part of the slow, enduring pattern of human life. Step gently now, feel the rhythm of travelers' steps, the subtle weight of shared stories, the quiet endurance of care, and drift, slowly, gently, alongside merchants and villagers, into calm reflection. What if the quiet hum of daily life was pierced by whispers, subtle messages traveling through streets, doorways, and markets? What if fear itself could drift gently, almost imperceptibly, touching hearts without harshness, yet shaping choices, gestures, and moments of connection? Take a slow, deliberate breath, in and out, letting the weight of information settle softly in your mind. Imagine whispers moving through alleyways, eyes meeting across quiet streets, a gentle ripple traveling unseen. Eleanor hears rumors first, drifting through her garden. Neighbors speak softly of illness in a distant hamlet, faces pale, voices cautious. She pauses in her work, adjusting herbs, thinking carefully of how best to prepare remedies, letting awareness guide gentle action rather than panic. Gideon notices villagers speaking in hushed tones as he carries timber, their steps slowed, cautious, their eyes flick toward doors and windows. He nods quietly to reassure them, careful gestures conveying calm, his presence a subtle anchor amid mounting unease. Margot listens at the market, merchants arriving with news of delayed trade, whispers of shortages, stories of travelers falling ill. She folds her hands over her goods, soft exhalation, careful consideration, each word weighed for accuracy, tempered by calm. Father Benedict walks slowly, stopping at cottages, hearing half-whispered tales. He responds with blessings and measured words, guiding hearts toward patience, reason, his voice a soft counterpoint to rising tension. Each syllable deliberate, calming, reflective. Clara observes families in quiet anxiety, children hiding behind skirts, parents murmuring their worries. She kneels beside them, adjusts blankets, offers herbal teas, soft gestures of reassurance, teaching, subtly, that knowledge and care outweigh fear, each movement meditative, grounding, stabilizing. Isolde notices the change in the village rhythm, quiet streets, cautious glances. She hums softly to children, weaving calm into their routines. folding clothes, arranging fires, teaching them gently how to move through uncertainty, her own breath slow, measured, deliberate. Sir Roland observes from the castle walls, hearing travelers' reports, noting how fear shifts behavior. He makes subtle decisions to maintain order, communicating carefully, authority softened by awareness, guidance delivered with patience and attention. Lucian records the whispers and rumors, noting subtle differences between fact and interpretation, documenting the gentle flow of information. Each sentence a careful meditation, capturing the human tendency toward anxiety, balanced with acts of resilience. Sophie notices closed doors and hesitant hands, bread delivered with soft words, reassurance in gestures, in smiles. Each small action a soft thread counteracting the ripple of fear, measured kindness sustaining calm. Brother Anselm guides novices, teaching how to observe without amplifying panic, how to offer aid gently, how to maintain steady presence amid uncertainty. Each step deliberate, slow, a meditation on quiet strength. Novice Thomas follows, assisting, observing, noting how the flow of news can unsettle hearts, learning how careful words, measured actions, and soft gestures can restore equilibrium. The rhythm of presence calming the subtle tremors of fear. Even Marcel in the forest senses the shift, animals pausing, the subtle hush in the underbrush, the ripple of human anxiety reflected in nature. He moves lightly, observing, a reminder that attentiveness and calm can contain disturbance. Eleanor tends herbs, Gideon works timber, Margot listens, Father Benedict blesses, Clara comforts, Isolde hums, Sir Roland guides, Lucian records, Sophie delivers bread, Brother Anselm teaches, Novice Thomas assists, Marcel watches. The village breathes, adapting to information, balancing fear with care. And you, listening, drift softly through this web of whispers, noticing the subtle courage in measured words, the quiet power in careful gestures, the rhythm of life adjusting gently. Breathe, slowly, softly. The bell tolls once, soft, deliberate, echoing through streets and gardens, a reminder of vigilance, of patience, of subtle connection. Each heartbeat part of the rhythm sustaining the village. Step gently now, feel the delicate balance between awareness and calm, the gentle courage in human connection. Let it settle around you, and drift, slowly, gently, with the villagers, into calm reflection. What if the village, amidst uncertainty, turned gently toward ritual, toward the soft rhythm of faith, ceremony, and cultural practice? What if you could move slowly among the villagers as they observed familiar rites, letting the patterns of tradition anchor them, even when fear whispered? Take a slow, deliberate breath, in and out, feeling the hush of stone churches, the soft glow of candlelight, the faint scent of incense drifting through the streets. Imagine footsteps moving with intention, voices murmuring prayers. Father Benedict walks the worn path to the village chapel, robes brushing stone, his hands clasped in meditation. He moves slowly, each step measured, aware that rituals are more than ceremony. They are a soft pulse sustaining hope, offering calm, a gentle rhythm for hearts worn thin. Eleanor tends a small shrine at home, lighting a candle, whispering a prayer over her herbs. She traces fingers lightly over sacred carvings, each motion deliberate, each breath a meditation, offering gratitude, reflection, and quiet appeal for protection. Gideon pauses at the forge, setting tools down, bowing his head, listening to the faint tolling of the bell. He offers a silent prayer for families and laborers alike, his hands resting on warm timber, feeling the connection between craft and spiritual devotion, small gestures anchoring life. Margot organizes a small communal space, weaving together flowers, ribbons, and simple offerings, preparing for a soft festival of gratitude, even amid scarcity. Her hands move deliberately, soft humming accompanying each placement, offering hope and continuity. Clara attends to the sick with ritualized care, washing hands, arranging blankets, blessing herbs, each act deliberate, rhythmic, a fusion of practical healing and spiritual attention. She whispers gentle prayers for protection and comfort, weaving faith into action. Isolde guides children in quiet observances, teaching songs, folding cloth for offerings, lighting small candles, each gesture rhythmic. Meditative, a soft instruction in both care and belief. The children absorb these lessons slowly, their hearts soothed by the continuity of practice. Sir Roland observes from his tower, marking feast days, noting holy observances, ensuring that rituals continue without disruption. Subtle guidance and presence preserving a gentle order, reinforcing the heartbeat of communal faith. Brother Anselm prepares the monastery, incense burning in stone halls, novices following in measured steps, lighting candles, arranging herbs, reciting psalms softly, teaching that repetition, observation, and soft devotion sustain both mind and body. The rhythm of ritual a tether to stability. Novice Thomas moves carefully, lighting small lamps, following prayers, observing the older monks, learning that ceremony, while external, shapes internal calm. Each breath, each step, a meditation, each soft movement teaching resilience. Lucian records rituals in his chronicle, not merely noting dates or acts, but capturing the subtle gestures, the expressions of devotion, the gentle hum of continuity. His writing slow, reflective, almost a prayer itself, preserving the village's heartbeat for future eyes. Sophie arranges small offerings, delivering bread and tokens to the altar, soft steps and gentle words carrying significance, even minor acts resonating with faith, care, and subtle reassurance. Even Marcel senses the energy, the calm rhythm of human devotion reflected in the forest. Birds perching quietly, the wind slowing for a moment, the world itself pausing, harmonizing with rituals that hold hearts and hands together. Eleanor lights candles, Gideon bows at the forge, Margot arranges offerings, Father Benedict blesses, Clara tends the sick, Isolde guides children, Sir Roland observes, Brother Anselm directs novices, Novice Thomas follows, Lucian records, Sophie delivers, Marcel watches, the village breathes, rituals weaving a quiet net of calm and endurance, and you, listening, drift softly among them, noticing the gentle pulse of ceremony, the quiet courage in repeated acts, the meditative rhythm of devotion, each gesture a thread in the tapestry of life. Breathe, slowly, softly. The bell tolls once, soft, deliberate, echoing through stone and timber, a reminder of continuity, of care, of faith, each heartbeat part of the slow, enduring cadence of ritual and presence. Step gently now, feel the calm in every bow, every whispered prayer, every soft movement. Let the awareness of ritual settle around you, and drift, slowly, gently, with the villagers, into calm reflection. What if the subtle weight of leadership rested softly upon a few, guiding the village through uncertainty, loss, and adaptation? What if you could follow the careful steps of those entrusted with both authority and care, their decisions deliberate, their presence a quiet anchor? Take a slow, measured breath, in and out, letting your mind drift through halls and streets, noticing the gentle gestures of leadership, the calm words, the soft reassurances, the quiet coordination that sustains life. Sir Roland moves through the village, observing without intrusion, noting which households require aid, which roads need repair. He pauses at the market, nods softly to Margot, and asks quietly about supplies, every word and gesture measured, authority softened by presence, his decisions deliberate, balancing caution with reassurance. Eleanor notices his gentle oversight, the way he speaks to neighbors with patience. She tends herbs in her garden, measuring leaves, adjusting remedies, feeling a subtle alignment between the calm authority and her own careful work, a sense that the village remains steady under watchful eyes. Gideon watches as Sir Roland ensures that carpenters and blacksmiths are allocated where needed. Fewer hands now, so tasks must be prioritized. He adjusts his own labor accordingly, the rhythm of work syncing with the guidance of leadership. Steady, deliberate, unhurried, Father Benedict meets with the nobleman privately, discussing care for families, distribution of aid, and moral guidance. His words gentle, thoughtful, ensuring that policies and spiritual comfort walk hand in hand. Their conversation a soft meditation on balance, compassion, and responsibility. Margot reports stock levels. The nobleman listens carefully, notes shortages, potential disruptions, makes small decisions, authorizing deliveries or redirecting resources, each choice deliberate. Soft reassurance carried not only in words but in the subtle rhythm of measured action. Clara consults with leaders regarding medical needs, herbs, clean water, advice for families. Her voice quiet yet precise. She watches as Sir Roland considers suggestions thoughtfully. Together, they weave practicality with care, each movement deliberate, each word reflective. Isolde observes the interactions, guiding children to assist quietly, showing them that leadership is not only about authority, but about attentive care, about small acts that ripple through households and streets. She hums softly, a melody accompanying the flow of governance. Lucian records discussions, noting decisions, strategies, and gestures. He observes the subtle exchange of authority and empathy, capturing how measured leadership sustains community, even in uncertainty. His quill moves slowly, deliberate, reflective. Sophie notices the coordination. Bread deliveries timed and routed efficiently, each household considered. Small acts under the guidance of authority ensuring continuity. Her steps soft, her movements steady, reinforcing the rhythm established by leaders. Brother Anselm observes the same patterns. Monks assisting in organizing aid, distributing herbs, water, and food, acting under guidance. Their gestures calm, deliberate, teaching novices that leadership is present not in command alone, but in coordination, patience, and quiet care. Novice Thomas assists with deliveries, following orders with soft diligence, learning that structure, attention, and calm presence are as essential as strength. Each act a meditation on responsibility. Small threads contributing to the larger tapestry of stability. Even Marcel in the forest senses the shift. Animals moving along pathways, noting the soft patterns of human activity. Leadership influencing rhythm. Subtle balance extending beyond walls. A quiet harmony of order and care. Sir Roland walks. Eleanor tends herbs. Gideon shapes timber. Father Benedict consults. Margot organizes supplies. Clara prepares remedies. Isolde guides children. Lucian records. Sophie delivers. Brother Anselm instructs. Novice Thomas assists. Marcel watches. The village breathes. A slow, deliberate rhythm, authority and care entwined. And you, listening, drift gently among them, noticing the quiet courage in measured decisions. The subtle power of attention, patience, and deliberate action. The rhythm of life guided softly, but persistently. Breathe, slowly, softly. The bell tolls once, soft, deliberate, echoing through halls and streets, a reminder that leadership, when gentle and attentive, sustains life, care, and calm. Each heartbeat a note in the enduring harmony of governance. Step gently now. Feel the rhythm of careful guidance, of authority tempered by compassion. Let it settle within you, and drift, slowly, gently, with the villagers, into calm reflection. What if, After months of quiet struggle, adaptation, and careful observation, the village paused, breathing in the rhythm of its own survival. What if you could drift gently among the villagers as they reflected on endurance, courage, and the subtle strength of daily life? Take a slow, soft breath, in and out, letting your mind wander through cottages, gardens, and streets, noticing small acts, quiet rituals, and deliberate steps. The gentle pulse of life sustained. Eleanor kneels beside her herb beds, fingers brushing leaves, inhaling the earthy aroma. She reflects on the small victories: a fever reduced, a garden preserved, a neighbor comforted. The rhythm of tending, observing, and caring becomes a meditation. Her breath matches the pulse of the village. Gideon rests for a moment, tools set aside, eyes sweeping the workshop. He considers the adjustments made. The slower, deliberate pace, fewer hands but steady work, each plank, each nail, a testament to persistence and patience. A quiet pride in endurance. Margot sits on a bench in the market, counting wares, recalling exchanges. Some doors closed, others opened. She recalls gestures of generosity, resilience in neighbors, small acts of adaptation weaving a tapestry of shared survival. She exhales slowly, letting reflections settle like soft dust. Father Benedict moves quietly among cottages, observing families in gentle conversation, blessings exchanged, quiet smiles shared. He notices subtle courage, parents teaching children patience, neighbors offering small comforts, the meditative rhythm of presence sustaining life and spirit. Clara kneels beside a resting child, examining a tincture, recalling the trials of past weeks. The adjustments in care, each measured step, each soft gesture, a thread connecting resilience to daily life. Her reflection quiet, meditative, aware of the human pulse beneath small acts. Isolde folds cloths slowly, humming a familiar tune. She watches children engaged in chores, noticing their small attentions, their gentle care. She smiles softly, seeing how practice, repetition, and guidance shape enduring habits. A quiet meditation on legacy and patience. Sir Roland observes the village, noting adaptations in trade, labor, and daily routines. Soft satisfaction in seeing subtle systems of resilience emerge. His authority expressed gently, deliberately, reinforcing calm and measured continuity. A quiet strength sustaining the heartbeat of the village. Lucian writes in his chronicle, capturing both daily labor and quiet heroism, documenting how presence, attention, and care ripple through lives, each word deliberate, each observation a meditation. The human story unfolding in the rhythm of adaptation. Sophie delivers bread, pausing at doorsteps, watching faces softened by small comforts, noticing children learning to help, neighbors sharing quietly, each act reinforcing the subtle resilience of life. Her steps measured, gentle, a soft pulse of continuity. Brother Anselm guides novices, reflecting on their growth, the rhythm of instruction, the patience in teaching, the quiet observation of adaptation. He notes how small, repeated actions ripple outward, shaping resilience across households and hearts. Novice Thomas assists, watching elders, siblings, and neighbors adapt, learning that endurance is cultivated in tiny moments. Carrying water, measuring herbs, tending fires, each gesture a meditation on the strength embedded in daily life. Even Marcel in the forest senses the reflection of resilience. Animals moving steadily, cautiously, harmonizing with the rhythm of human adaptation. The world itself mirroring the quiet, deliberate persistence of life. Eleanor tends herbs, Gideon rests, Margot reflects. Father Benedict observes, Clara cares, Isolde teaches, Sir Roland oversees, Lucian writes, Sophie delivers, Brother Anselm instructs, Novice Thomas assists, Marcel watches. The village breathes, a gentle harmony of daily courage and persistence. And you, listening, drift softly among them, noticing the quiet strength in each measured act, the meditative rhythm of daily life sustaining hope and endurance, each gesture a thread in the tapestry of resilience. Breathe, slowly, softly. The bell tolls once, soft, deliberate, echoing through streets, gardens, and cottages, a reminder of continuity, care, and quiet courage, each heartbeat a note in the enduring symphony of human perseverance. Step gently now, feel the calm courage embedded in small acts, the quiet rhythm of endurance. Let it settle within you, and drift, slowly, gently, with the villagers, into calm reflection. What if, after months of struggle, adaptation, care, and quiet courage, the village paused, breathing as one, absorbing the lessons of loss, resilience, and gentle connection? What if you could drift softly alongside them, letting reflection and calm settle deep within? Take a long, slow breath, in and out. Feel the weight of the day fade, the gentle pulse of life surrounding you. Imagine cottages lit by soft candlelight, smoke curling from chimneys, the quiet rhythm of night settling over the village. Eleanor leans over her herb garden one last time tonight, brushing fingers across leaves, inhaling the earthy scent. She reflects on months of tending, observing, and helping. The small victories, the quiet losses. She exhales softly, a gentle smile curling. Knowing that life endures in attentive, measured care, Gideon rests at his workshop. Tools laid aside, timber stacked carefully. He lets his mind wander over the day's work, the slower pace, the fewer hands, the steady persistence. He feels a quiet pride in adaptation, in patience, in sustaining continuity, a soft meditation on endurance. Margot sits in the market square, recalling exchanges, deliveries, and gestures of generosity. The quiet courage of neighbors, the delicate balance between scarcity and giving. She folds her hands, exhaling slowly, feeling the rhythm of care, invisible yet steady, sustaining the village. Father Benedict moves softly through the streets, pausing at each doorstep, murmuring final blessings, watching families settle for the night. He notes the subtle courage in hearts that endured, the quiet acts of faith and compassion, a meditation on human endurance and gentle guidance. Clara checks her remedies, ensuring teas, poultices, and tinctures are ready, reflecting on families comforted, on lessons learned, each act of care now infused with experience, awareness, and quiet confidence. A steady heartbeat of practical compassion. Isolde folds cloths, hums a soft tune, watches children adjust to the rhythm of nightly chores. Small hands, soft steps. She smiles at their growth, their quiet courage, seeing the continuity of life carried forward through gentle instruction and shared rhythm. Sir Roland walks through the village quietly, observing, reflecting, noting the subtle adjustments made in work, trade, and care. He considers the weight of responsibility and the gentle satisfaction of seeing adaptation take root, a meditation on leadership intertwined with presence and humility. Lucian writes slowly, chronicling the threads of survival, courage, and care, noting small victories and quiet sacrifices, each stroke of the quill a meditation, capturing the enduring pulse of human life, resilient and measured. Sophie delivers the final bread for the evening, soft footsteps echoing through quiet lanes, pausing at doorways, leaving gentle reassurance. Small gestures that sustain calm, each act a thread of continuity, woven into the village's quiet heartbeat. Brother Anselm guides novices through last evening rituals, soft chants, careful arrangements, gentle teaching, each movement deliberate, each breath measured, reinforcing the rhythm of care and observation, a meditation on patience and quiet strength. Novice Thomas assists, observing, learning. Each step, each soft gesture, a lesson in endurance. Noticing how the small threads of daily life create a tapestry of resilience, calm, and subtle courage. Even Marcel in the forest senses the stillness, the gentle hush of night, the rhythm of life slowing, but not ceasing. The subtle pulse of continuity reflected in animals, trees, and wind, a quiet harmony with human adaptation and care. Eleanor tends herbs, Gideon rests, Margot reflects. Father Benedict blesses, Clara prepares remedies, Isolde teaches, Sir Roland observes, Lucian records, Sophie delivers, Brother Anselm instructs, Novice Thomas assists, Marcel watches, the village breathes, a slow, gentle rhythm, threads of care, courage, and reflection woven into calm night, and you, listening, drift softly among them, feeling the quiet strength in small acts, the meditative pulse of life, the gentle courage of hearts aligned with purpose. Breathe, slowly, softly, let your body, your mind, and your spirit settle into calm. The bell tolls once, soft, deliberate, echoing across streets, cottages, and hearts, a reminder of continuity, reflection, and the endurance of quiet care. Each heartbeat a note in the soft, enduring symphony of life. Step gently now. Feel the calm settle deep within. The village at rest. Herbs, tools, bread, and prayers at peace. The rhythm of existence slowed, steady, and gentle, and drift, slowly, gently, into your own reflection, your own calm, your own sleep.